Hello and welcome to Boomer Live once again, ladies and gentlemen. We are just few minutes away from the marquee contest of this year's World Cup. That is India versus Pakistan. One can say it's the mother of all battles. The crowd is here. The stadium is set. India won the toss and they are bowling in an Ahmedabad surface. Sandibani is here with me. Sandibani, what a occasion this is. India, Pakistan, and India won the toss. What's your initial thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think I first of all I was really energized and excited with how Ravi Shastri really built up the anticipation and excitement in the toss. I think he's that guy who can do that. And also,
Yeah.
I think it's a good toss for India to win. Like Babar Azam mentioned, that he would have wanted to chase as well. And India has won two games chasing.
Yeah.
And also, I feel that the dew might come in towards the later end, and keeping wickets in hand early on will give India that advantage. But it is also very important for Pakistan to not lose too many wickets early on, because we have seen Pakistan lose two wickets early on in both their games. Against Netherlands, they were three down for 43. Against Sri Lanka, chasing some 340 45 runs. They were two down for 43, 40 odd runs at the eighth over. So I think not losing those early wickets, Imamul Haq will really have to get a move on. Babar Azam will be really excited and anticipating for this clash. So I think it is very important for the top orders to click. And Shubman Gill is back in place of Ishan Kishan, and they went ahead with Shardul Thakur, which is really interesting. Uh, you can say slightly predictable, but Gautam Gambhir was really inclining towards Mohammad Shami
Yeah.
before the toss. So yeah, I mean, I am not really sad that they have gone ahead with Shardul Thakur, but it could have been Ashwin or Mohammad Shami. I mean, but it's
But I
still
don't think
fine.
Ashwin would have done anything in this pitch as well, because if you look at that pitch, it's a flat deck. And if in Ahmedabad, Pacers have done well historically, I would have had
Exactly.
Shami. There was a toss up between Shami and Shardul, not Ashwin and Shardul for sure. And
Yeah, I
obviously,
mean
because they had
Shami
extra
would
bit
have
of
been
batting.
interesting, but they went ahead with the long handle with the bat, so it's fine. You can't really criticize that decision. And also Shubman Gill coming back at Ahmedabad, even if he's 70% fit, you would rather pick him over Asian Kishan, because we know what Shubman Gill can do in Ahmedabad. It's his favorite ground, and he just scores runs for fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's no two ways about talking about that. But especially when we talk about this kind of contest, in a pressure like this, how much would you like to see India chase? Because the pressure will be on India to restrict them to as low as possible. The pitch is flat. Obviously, the pitch is flat, and considering the Pakistani bowling attack is not the best, India wouldn't mind chasing anything around 270, 280 as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But like you spoke, the clash is so big, the pressure is so big that they would have rather preferred. I mean, I would have rather preferred India batting first. From a fan standpoint as well, I would have wanted them to see batting first. But from an analysis point of view, I think it's the right decision to chase, because that's been working for you. You saw what they made. They made a mockery of that
Yeah,
chase
Salman,
against
I'll ask
Afghanistan.
question on that as well. That's why I want to ask, why would you treat this game differently in comparison with any other game? Because it's India Pakistan, you want to bat first, or because it's another game of cricket, you want to be more cricket centric, you want to use your cricketing brains. That would take you to maybe chase. Your cricketing brains are definitely
Yeah.
saying you should chase because in Ahmedabad, chasing has been the way to go. The dew does come in later on, and to add to the pitch does stay true. You saw that in the New Zealand versus England game as well. So the India Pakistan contest and the pressure says you should bat first, and the cricketing brain says you should chase. So what would you go in with in this situation?
Yeah, I think like you mentioned it perfectly. It's an India Pakistan game in the World Cup, and due to the pressure situation, you would rather feel that you would have runs on board and then defend it uh, over chasing. But I think when you are coming from like the Indian team, they are looking at each game as individual entity, and they are not focusing too much on the opponents or where they are playing, against whom they are playing. So I think from that standpoint, I think it's good to keep on doing what has been working for you. And India has been chasing well. They won the last two games comfortably against, especially against Afghanistan. I think they chased around 270 odd runs in 35 overs. It was a dominating performance. So I think the players, the batters look set, and you would rather be in that frame of mind where you can really chase down any total. So that positivity and that frame of mind is what would have forced me to chase. But other than that, I think it's it's an old saying, right? It's not from today, it's from the 1970s, 1980s, from the first inception of the World Cup as well. You would rather, no matter what the no matter what the track is, no matter where you're playing, against whom you're playing, it's always good to have some runs on the board and then defend. That's the old school way of thinking. So that way you would rather want to bat first, but I think they have gone with the right call, because you cannot really pinpoint that it's because India versus Pakistan there will be pressure, so we'll chase first. I think all the players are really experienced from the Indian point of view. I mean, most of them are the IPL captains of their respective franchises, and also you have some of the leading run scorers in this year, and some of the highest wicket takers in this calendar year in ODIs from the Indian team. So I think that experience will really allow them to take this game as a normal
Yeah.
game and just focus on the basics rather than
True,
just
true that, true that.
getting caught up with the hype.
As you mentioned already about Shubman Gill, I think we have to talk about Shubman Gill a little bit. Massive inclusion for India, right? Just getting him fit before this Ahmedabad game was what India wanted, and he's looking fit. He's looking pumped up to go. And for India as well, you would want him to just play in this contest more than anything else, because it's in Ahmedabad. And how big a factor is he going to be in today's game? Because considering it's against Ahmedabad, and he's better suited to tackle a Pakistani attack than Nishan Kishan, you can say so.
Massive. I think it's a huge news for India that Shubman Gill is back. Even if he's, like I said, even if he's not 100% fit, I think India can do with the 80% to 70% fit Shubman Gill, where you can just probably rest him a bit on the field, and not violate the time constraints so that he can't open. Definitely, he should come back and open the innings, because he has been that player for India this year. I think he has 1,230 odd runs in this calendar year in the ODIs, which is over 300, close to 300 more than the next best. So I think he has been absolutely dominant, has an average of 72 and a strike rate of 105 in the ODIs this year with 5 centuries. So that is a huge feat that he is back. And also Rohit Sharma, 7 centuries in 19 innings in the World Cup. That's another massive feat as well. So I think India has all that statistics boxes ticked. It's going to be interesting to see how they tackle that new ball, because Shaheen Shah Afridi is going to come in, steam in, like you mentioned, saw in one of his interviews as well. He is really pumped up to beat India in India. That is going to be a huge perspective for him. So I think it's going to be a huge clash if India can just counter that new ball attack from Shaheen Shah Afridi. I don't think Hassan Ali is going to pose that much of a threat. He's going to be more defensive on his lines and just try to build up the pressure so that Shaheen Shah Afridi can bowl those magical in-swingers to get the better of the Indian batsman. So having said that, and Haris Rauf as well, I think he's going to be a huge factor in this contest. But I think India will get that advantage in the form of the spinners. I think India has a classy pace attack as well in the form of Siraj and Bumrah. I think, like I said in the last live, I think they are one of the most threatening opening combinations in this World Cup. So, but I think the difference is going to be how the spinners go in that middle over. Shadab Khan, Mohammad Nawaz versus Ravindra Jadeja, Kuldeep Yadav in that middle overs. How much impact they can make, how can they stem the run flow, and how many wickets. The wickets is going to be the most important factor, because you have seen that Pakistan have been tested in their middle order. India too has, well, I mean, lost 2 for 3 in the first game. So their middle order has also been tested, but the likes of Hardik Pandya and Ravindra Jadeja hasn't really been tested with the bat right now. So the lower middle order hasn't been tested. Likewise for Pakistan, you may see that number 6, number 7, Shadab Khan, Mohammad Nawaz hasn't really come to the fore. Yes, they've scored some runs against Netherlands, but I think it's going to be a whole different chapter against India. So it's going to be interesting to see how they tackle, how the lower middle order goes about their business in the middle overs. If there is a collapse, or if they lose early wickets at the top.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a very interesting point, because for Pakistan as well, there will be a pressure for them to set something big now. They know their bowling is not the best, considering what they did against Sri Lanka and the way in
Yeah.
which they've been leaking runs in the warm games as well. So that pressure is definitely going to be there. It's not a Netherlands team that they can defend a 280 against this team quite comfortably. So you again, that's going to be an added pressure, and they have been losing wickets up front quite consistently. And if Abdullah Shafiq or a Rizwan fails today, then it's a different ball game all of a sudden, because then you have a
Exactly.
South Shakil who is very less in experience. Then you have someone like then you have Iftikhar, who has not really gone and done well. He has got his limitations as well. That's going to be Pakistan's biggest challenge today, more than anything else.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a huge stage platform for a player like Abdullah Shafiq and players like Saud Shakil that they have been given the go ahead. I personally felt that Salman Ali Agha would be the player that they would look to get in, and I think it would have been from a standpoint that Mohammad Nawaz is not really your all rounder that you're looking for. He does not have a very good performance against India. He hasn't been in the best of forms with the ball. I mean, Mohammad Nawaz coming in at number 8, scoring 30-35 runs is important, but you would rather have a proper batsman in his place who can bowl a bit. So I think the way Iftikhar Ahmed has been bowling, I think Iftikhar Ahmed and Salman Ali Agha could have done the job of that fifth bowling option, and they could have gone in with one extra batter, given they are playing at Ahmedabad because the stage is going to be high. But they trust their batters in form, players like Mohammad Rizwan and probably a Babar Azam to do the job for them. But I would have still rather gone with the Salman Ali Agha. But it's a huge stage for players like Abdullah Shafiq and Saud Shakil to really prove themselves. Because I think Imamul Haq, Babar Azam, Mohammad Rizwan have had their share of their experience against this Indian team. I think this Pakistan team, the only two players that are going to really take on India for the first time are Saud Shakil and Abdullah
Abdullah
Shafiq.
Shafiq.
So huge scope for them, and if they can really counter that new ball attack from Bumrah and Siraj, I think it's going to be smooth sailing for them as well. Because the third seamer in the form of Shardul Thakur, I don't know how he'll perform, but Shardul Thakur and Hardik Pandya are the two bowlers that they'll be looking to target. I mean, Hardik Pandya, it's sort of home ground for him as well, playing for the Gujarat Titans in the IPL, but. It's going to be interesting to see how he goes. Last time around in the Asia Cup, he got a run out of 1 for 1. And Shardul Thakur bowled really well in the last
I
game
think we're
against
feeling a
India.
slight issue with Sandipani as well. We lost his connection slightly. But yeah, talking about which, I think very important factor over here, especially when it comes to how, uh, yeah, Sandipani is back. Sandipani, you back? I think you had a small connection issue there. But either
Yeah,
ways,
yeah, I'm back.
talking about,
Sorry, there is some connection issue.
yeah, there is some internet issues here and there. Michael says we should be on top straight away. What is an ideal way for India to start? Pick up the top order straight away, or get into the middle order before the 20th over, and maybe get just one first up in the crease in the first power
Absolutely,
play
I
itself.
think there is no two ways about it. Exactly, there is no two ways
Absolutely.
about it. We need to take early wickets at the top of the order because uh, this pitch is going to be flat, and Pakistan are ideally they would, if they have wickets in hand, they are going to look for a score in excess of 300. And in an India Pakistan encounter, no matter how good the track is, how much dew you have, the the mentality of going ahead and chasing a total in excess of 300 is going to be tough. So Pakistan are going to look at, setting a target of at least 320, 330, and to do
Yeah.
that they need wickets in hand. You can't expect them to lose 2-3 wickets early on, and Mohammad Rizwan to come in and save the day for them every day. And also, Mohammad Rizwan has so many cramps throughout the day that it's going to be interesting to see the theatrics and the acting that he does. It's going to be very exciting to see that as well. But you can't expect him to come in and save the ship for Pakistan all the time. The top order has to strike, and for India, the ideal scenario would be wickets at the top. Power play, two
Yeah.
to three wickets at the top of the order will do them a whole lot of good.
I mean, we spoke about Yasir Bumrah. I think one player we have to talk about is Mohammad Siraj as well. I know he did not have the best of games against Afghanistan, but he's someone who gets charged up for these kind of situations, and he's always been there and thereabouts. How big a game is this going to be for him to support Bumrah and to make sure he also strikes on the other end? What you saw in Asia Cup final was just that. Bumrah picked up the first wicket, but Siraj was continuously striking from the other end.
Yeah, he has been one of your strike bowlers, prime bowlers in the power plays for India in the last 2 to 3 years. And I think it is going to be huge for his confidence as well, because in the last game against Afghanistan, he really took a beating. 74 odd runs in 8.5 overs. I think You don't expect that kind of figures from Siraj, and I think he would be very excited, he would be pumped up to prove what he can do, and I think it's a stage set for him. And I think that combination from Bumrah and Siraj, even if Siraj can sort of maintain, because Bumrah is going to come in and maintain that pressure from one end. If Siraj can really capitalize on it, and if Pakistan really goes to take the attack on Siraj, I think that is when he'll become very, very dangerous, and you can expect a couple of wickets at the top of the order from Siraj as well. That is if Bumrah can maintain that pressure and Pakistan cannot get a move on in the power play. So building the pressure is going to be very important. If India can build that pressure in the initial overs, I think wickets will come at regular intervals. That is a given.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a good point as well. For Kuldeep Yadav as well, for him, it'll be ideal for the Pacers to set it for him so that he can come and operate with alongside Jadeja. We've often seen spinners haven't really done well in Ahmedabad, but how important is going to be for a Jadeja and a Kuldeep Yadav today, because they have an important job to do. I know they are going to be, maybe Jadeja is not going to bowl the full quota of 10 overs, maybe because you have a Hardik Pandya, you have a Shardul Thakur to do it so, but especially for Kuldeep Yadav and Jadeja, the pair together, they will have a job to do as well today.
Exactly. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how Jadeja and Hardik Pandya combine as a fifth bowling option, because we have seen in the past for other teams the fifth bowling option is a huge concern. But for us, because in the first game, Chennai tracks, Jadeja was so accustomed to it, he bowled his quota of 10 overs. In the last game, you saw Hardik Pandya come in, bowl 7 to 8 overs. Jadeja bowled 7, 8 overs as well. So they are taking out overs from the this gives India the opportunity that they can have that one bowler who is really going for runs. A player like Shardul Thakur, who does not have to probably complete his quota of 10 overs. So
Yeah.
I think Shardul Thakur, Hardik Pandya, and Jadeja are going to combine to bowl 20 overs. And the three other bowlers will look to get their quota of 10 overs done. So it's going to be interesting to see how Pakistan can capitalize on those 20 overs, because they would be looking to get at least 130 to 140 runs in those 20 overs.
Kapil says ball first is a wrong decision. What do you think of that?
I think, yeah, like I said, statistically saying, analytically saying, I think bowling first is the right decision. But I understand if Kapil thinks it's the wrong decision, because it's a high octane clash, India versus Pakistan in India. So the pressure is going to be on India if Pakistan can really get a move on with the bat and even score something close to par. I think if they can go ahead and score well in excess of 300 or a
Yeah.
310 to 320, it's going to be very, very difficult for India from a mental standpoint to get that move on. If India can somehow fight their demons in the head, I think they can do a great job.
True, true. And that's about it from us. The match is going to start, so we will be ending it right here. Thank you all for joining us once again. Take care and see you all very soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye, guys.